With an increasing amount of young Australians experimenting with drugs to help them study, health professionals are becoming increasingly alarmed. I spoke to clinical psychologist Dr. Brendan Della to find out more. Now, what is the percentage of young people using drugs in Australia?
Well, we know from national health surveys that it's around 23 to 25% of people aged between 17 and 25. So if you're looking at university students, there are about 25% that have used some form of illegal drug in the last 12 months.
What are the common reasons that lead to young people using drugs?
Around the age group of around 15 to 25, there's a lot of experimentation, just trying things out for novelty's sake. There's a second group of people who are using drugs to cope, so they're not sleeping very well, or they've got some anxiety problem or depression. Those people are at risk of developing problems with their drug use, like addictions, for example. So there's two kind of very different types of drug users, if you will. One that's using for fun or experimentation, and the other using to cope with stress or anxiety or sleeplessness or depression.
Do you think that university students use drugs for recreational reasons, or is it mostly to treat the stress and pressure at university?
It's a very difficult question because I think it's a bit of both. And as I said before, there are those two groups of people. So the groups of people who do experiment with drugs and socially take them, they tend to not have any long-standing problems. So there's a group of people who do dabble, I guess, and then move on and get careers and become responsible and so on. The ones that have problems with drugs tend to quite early on use it for things like stress and anxiety. Those people tend to do worse. You know, we know this for a fact now, that they go on to develop problems with their health, addictions, for example. The ones that are having more recreational use tend to do better long term than the ones that are using to treat or self-medicate.
One pill makes you larger, and one pill makes you small, and the one...
Well, I think it's stemmed from a recreational thing, and that probably started when they were in high school. I know that when I was in high school, that's what I did. I experimented with those kinds of things. But now that we've kind of moved into university, those things still kind of happen. But it's also a social thing, and lots of people like to get together and take drugs in the social recreation arena. So I think it's one way that people get to do it.
They like the effects it gives them. They're young and rebellious. They want to try new things.
I think it's because of stress in school, like pressure, and they like find some way to release the stress, and sometimes it's also under the influence of their friends.
Being at university can be quite stressful, and it's a hard thing to try and get assignments in all the time, so sometimes drugs might be able to help you relax or to do assignments or finish them in any kind of way.
What kind of help is available for university students who may be using drugs?
Universities all have a health service. The best thing to do outside of a university, if people aren't comfortable, is to seek help from their GP first and get a referral to the appropriate service. And young people also have an opportunity now to engage in mental health services such as Headspace, which there's 2 Headspace centres in WA, but with the recent budget there's going to be a lot more. So we're going to have these drop-in centres where people can get health services, who are young people, that are going to be relatively accessible, where it hasn't been the case in the past. So that's going to be something that's going to hopefully open the doors for treatment.